Cut. Very nice.
That's good. It's better. Cut.
How slender can we make this?
Pull snaps you back. We have to keep back. Yeah.
Stay right with him. You can think, you can talk just as fast as he can. Just resist the impulse to hang on that. It's like, yeah, we should ask that. We really should. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
I think a lot of people have certain feelings about it because it's about Facebook, but it's really not about Facebook at all.
It's not a movie about a website. Yes, that is one of the elements of it, but it's about number 5 or 6 on the list of what this movie's actually about.
The thing that grabbed me was that there are elements in this story that are as old as storytelling itself, of friendship and loyalty, jealousy, class, power, betrayal.
Please, let's not have any of that. I saw a knit cap. I saw this knit cap. Right here, you guys start a cap. There's no reason on a shot like this ever to have a boob shadow. Ever. For any reason at all.
At its best, the movie is about really big things, and it's about kind of modern ambition, you know, within this kind of old business world.
It's about quite a lot of things, I suppose. Social interaction, a lawsuit primarily. I mean, it's about a big war.
You better lawyer up, asshole, because I'm not coming back for 30%. I'm coming back for everything.
Can I call you right back and I'll leave you in the maze of a real fattening tent that I'm in.
It could be about the invention of television, or it could be about the creation of this camera. And what it really is about two friends and something that's amazing that they create that ultimately ends up breaking their friendship.
This can all be boiled down to, turns out I was right.
Right.
Yeah. Listen, all they've done is they've put the bullets in the gun and pointed it at his head. He doesn't know. They haven't pulled the trigger.
Okay, let's go talk about this guy.
The Winklevoss twins are saying you stole their idea.
I have to be mildly annoying.
They find it to be property theft. Why didn't you show this?
It was addressed to me.
They're saying that we stole the Facebook from Divya and Narendra.
I know what it says.
Did we?
Okay, alright, okay, here, my first note about this scene is I don't buy his, I like the shorter one, what were their names? I find it to be a little cutesy.
We had 3 weeks of rehearsal, which was a great luxury, and that rehearsal was sitting around a table, reading through the scenes, talking about the scenes.
I'm CEO, bitch. I don't know how that connects. To me it feels oddly like a dangling participle here.
Okay, if we only hear that once, which we do earlier, is that enough for the payoff at the end?
I think so.
Okay.
When it only came up once, I was making a bigger to-do about it.
So you think we can land it only doing it once?
I think so.
Okay, great.
Does it make sense, David, to like the water in the Golden Gate Bridge is freezing cold?
Yeah, okay, whatever.
$1 billion valuation in all the ice cream you can eat.
I don't like the all ice cream.
Right.
You? The $1 billion valuation to me is best frame to watch.
Yeah, I feel like I spoke maybe 3 times during the 3-week rehearsal period because the rehearsals were less about like rehearsing the scenes and or coming up with blocking or something like that. It was more about just like discussing the story as a whole or I was interested to see how David was so focused on finding what was behind each word in the script and why it was there.
I want to get through this fashion thing a little bit.
All right, let's do the fashion thing first.
Okay, so I'm just saying you cut one of the fashions. What fashion? Fashion's never finished.
It won't be finished, that's the point. The way fashion's never finished.
What? Fashion's never finished. You're
Okay, so
talking
cut
about
that
fashion,
fashion.
really you.
Hang on, cut that fashion.
That's first.
Yeah.
But then you're on set for 70-something days, and, he's in charge of executing that. So, it made sense retrospectively that he would be so insistent upon finding what was under everything.
All I'm saying is that I'm CEO, bitch. To me, doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be for the girl lacrosse captain. I'm CEO, bitch. Is anybody who looks at a 21-year-old who says, I invented this great thing, and they go, isn't that great? And of course we want you on our board, and we want your ideas further, and we want to have like a relationship with you. But now you can go the f*** home because we're the pros from Dover. We know what the we're doing with this thing, and you're finished.
Okay, and
he's
I
saying,
don't want to take their time with this.
Yeah.
But do you think that do we run the risk of people saying, wait a second, am I supposed to, feel empathy for a guy who, he may not be taken seriously, but surely somebody cut him a check, and he's 21 and he's got a few $1 million in his pocket. I'm supposed to feel empathy because the big guys weren't taking him seriously? I could definitely feel empathy for a guy who got, really wronged by a girl.
But he did get wronged by a girl. If you look at the first scene, the last thing
He didn't. Sean did.
It was very exacting, very open. We all felt free to query and question anything that was nagging at us, which is really nice. But no, it was fascinating to be in a room with Aaron and David and trying to gain a perspective of how the next 80 days were going to be and kind of try and figure that out, which was impossible to decipher, but it was a fun game to play.
I'm not talking about a dating site. I'm talking about taking the entire social network. That's the movie title. I'm talking about taking the entire social experience of college and putting it online.
Okay, let's telescope out in action.
It's just always nice to be shooting on location. I mean, the sets are amazing in this movie, but it's still a set, You can tell the difference between a set and when you're really in Boston with kids who are going to the schools that you're making a movie about.
Whenever there's something that might be a damage to his ego, just splash it right on. It's like quickly put out that fire. Of course not. I don't like rowers, giant, strong, rippling biceps.
The third and fourth days of filming, we filmed the first scene of the movie, and it was probably the greatest experience I've ever had as an actor up until that time.
And Jessie, when she says, we're not dating anymore, I'm sorry, is this a joke? Really, everything needs to stop, and I need to really focus on this for a second, and I really need to understand what it is you just said. And it doesn't have to be fast. I mean, you want to be on top of it, but speed-wise, you can modulate that down, so it's like, oh, take it easy. Because that's almost more annoying. When somebody goes, take it easy, you go, oh, they care. It's like, whoa, take it easy.
Oh, it's like patronizing.
And it's not intentional, it's just like, you're hysterical. It's like, you just want to go, no, but I'm going to be. Give me 5 seconds.
It was really, for me, like kind of finding who the guy is who I'm going to be playing for the next few months. And unfortunately, on this movie, I haven't had that same great feeling of discovery and creativity. That was really like the peak.
This is serious.
I was hoping that kind of would sustain, but I realized there's no other scene in the movie that lends itself to that kind of satisfying acting experience, because it's a unique scene. It's the opening of the movie, and it's 10 pages, and it introduces Zuckerberg. So there was nothing that I had to account for leading up to it, except for what I wanted to bring into it.
Rooney, you can really wind up on, yes, there is. That can be extremely pointed so that it really makes him go, I have to stop and note that for a second. That seems like another kind of communication, more than just words, which is really where I'm sort of more comfortable in. Just like this whole riptide thing is making me a little freaked out. And also, I like the fact that you're never loud. I just feel like the last thing, you're an asshole. It should be almost the quietest thing that you say in it. So it's like, I'm gonna leave you a little secret about yourself, but you should remember next time you look at yourself in the mirror, and that is, you're an asshole. The only reason that you're here to begin with is that there are times when the shit that he says is sort of funny and interesting. And he is sort of funny and interesting, and he is damaged goods, but it's also like, you know what? I'm done making this work. Here we go, Ann. Action.
Did you know there are more people with genius IQs living in China than there are people of any kind living in the United
That
States?
can't possibly be true.
It is.
What would account for that?
Well, first, there's an awful lot of people living in China, but here's my question. How do you distinguish yourself in a population of people who all got 1,600 on their SATs? As an actor, I prefer to do scenes like that every day. I mean, I really feel stupid when I go home and all I did all day was like walk from one building to another. Maybe because I used to do a lot of plays, and when you do a play, you do the whole thing, so you go home at night kind of with a sense of accomplishment that on movies, often you don't have that same sense of accomplishment because, you know, you spent the day picking up a knife and the shot was on your hand. But that scene really you felt sated at the end of the day.
Cut. It wasn't like he was really going to finish eating, but he had to sort of put everything in place. So it's this thing of like, I'm going to take a drink, except now I hate beer and I'll never drink beer.
Right, exactly.
Because you've ruined it for me. I hope you're happy. Here we go.
Let's have you have one table over there and 2 tables over here. And you have one table over there and 2 tables.
Everyone who's wearing glasses, come on in.
Get some beers. We get 2 beers here.
And make sure they drink their beers. Not tugging it. I saw them drink the beer, but make sure they really drink it.
We should do one with these guys where everybody talks. And again, they shouldn't get too hysterical. Okay, so let's do one like that.
The last rehearsal was really good. The previous rehearsal, a bunch of you started a cheer, like a game or something like that. Refrain from that. Do not do that. We don't have any sports games going on, okay? But everything else is good.
Yeah, the first take we did, David let all the people in the bar speak, so that was another reason it was so satisfying, is because he tried to create a sense of realism beyond what movies logistically warrant by having all the extras in the scene speak at full volume and be saying things that you would have to account for as an editor that are not period things, or not things that you'd say in Boston, or not things that people who go to Harvard say.
Sometimes you say 2 things at once. I'm not sure which one I'm supposed to be aiming at.
You've seen guys who row crew, right?
No.
Okay, well, they're bigger than me. They're world-class athletes. And a second ago you said you like guys who row crew, so I assumed you admit one.
Well, I guess I just meant I like the idea of it, the way a girl likes a cowboy.
For me and Rooney, it lent this great sense of, at its most base level, having to speak at a high volume, but at a more psychological level of feeling like you're actually in this bar and feeling like you're actually kind of yelling at this girl who's breaking up with you, and it's confusing, and you're hearing other people talk, and that's confusing too. And all that stuff kind of adds to the full experience of it. And we did it 99 times. We didn't do it 100 times for some reason. He didn't want to do it one more time just to hit 100. But yeah, I loved it. Every time I've done a movie, I'm like, how are we only doing 6 takes of this?
Well, the only thing we have left tonight is the close-ups.
And then what?
And that's it for tonight. And then
tomorrow we'll
do the POV of the door guy.
But we're done with the dialogue, really? After tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting through it pretty fast.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
It's good.
It's kind of scary because as an actor, you always want it to be new and fresh and to feel spontaneous and real. And you're like, well, God, like after 10 times, how is it possibly going to feel spontaneous? But like it really, even at take 99, we were like, let's do one more. Like it never felt stale. It always felt really fresh. And I think that's because we were getting so many notes.
Try to help him along.
Okay.
Try to help him have a good time.
Okay.
And is it anybody or everybody? Is the Final Club that's easiest to get into the one where...
Anybody.
Anybody. Yeah, I think you're saying everybody.
Okay.
There was going to be no improvisation on this. You can't do that with this kind of script. It's just a little too dense and language-oriented. There's got to be a precision of language while casualizing the language.
Yeah.
What is that supposed to mean?
Wait, take it easy.
What is it supposed to mean?
Erica, the reason we're able to sit here and drink is because you used to sleep with the door guy.
Okay. You know that opening scene? We shot both of our coverage at the same time.
Tilt up.
You kind of have to do that with Sorkin's dialogue because there's a lot of overlap and it's happening really fast.
Come on.
I have to go study.
You don't have to study. You don't have to study. Let's just talk.
I can't.
Why?
Because it's exhausting.
Got it. You slammed the door on me.
I'm leaving. I just want to say thank you so much.
Thank you so
See you in
much.
LA.
This is great.
Good luck with everything. Thank you.
Only 99. We did it frugally. All right, get some sleep.
Thanks, Dave.
We knew that getting the right cast was going to be crucial, that all the characters in this movie are very young, so we weren't going to be able to hire anybody with a couple of decades experience. It meant we were going to have to hire the best young actors that there were. And because it was a David Fincher movie, there were no shortage of volunteers.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's a handsome cast.
That looks like my dad's old bag, and I like that. I could have inherited this from my father or something. Yeah, I like that. Because I think the family is a really big part of my life. So a reminder of that is that it's kind of perfect. What finger would I wear this on?
I think right is, I should check one of the girls that works with me is Brazilian.
I have to get some soap now.
I feel like this is good. I just feel like simple and it dates it a little bit. And I feel like just him. And in terms of book bag, do you feel like this one?
I'm fine with that. Just make it look a little more worn in. Take a sander to it. Some French fries.
I read the script, but it was given to me confidentially because I think they wanted me to audition with one of Aaron's other scripts, like The West Wing or something. They were having preliminary auditions like that, and I didn't want to do that because I thought it would be not in like my interest to do that. I don't think I would like come off well, and I thought I could do the part well, but I never thought they would cast me for this because it's such a big, wonderful movie. And then they let me audition with the pages, and I just made a tape in a few hours with my sister, and then I thought the tape was terrible, so I just forgot about it. And then I found out like 2 days later, like they wanted me to fly to California to meet with David.
You come up to find a place where you can purge, and then and be careful not to use too many hand gestures to frame what it is. Right. This is all about the head. Okay. This is all about what the head sees. And watch the coming off the wall. So it's more like, boom, he's here, and he's...
A stop speech.
Yeah. And kind of give the information without looking at him, so that then when he says, I can't feel my legs, I know. It's like that.
Right, because I didn't read his.
Yeah, that is exactly it.
Okay. The character is very bright, very introverted, which often appears as disinterested or kind of dismissive of those he's with, but his own mind is just working in a different way, whether it be more quickly than the people he's speaking with or just thinking about other things. He's distracted, but not in a way that hurts him. He's just distracted because he's so focused on things other than what's happening right in front of him. People want to go on the internet and check out their friends, so why can't I offer a f***ing shit? Why not? Yeah, so why not build? Sorry, David. Sorry. Yeah, I've watched everything that's available to watch. I've seen every picture that's taken of him. But it's weird when I get onto the set, that all seems to be irrelevant because you're focusing so much on the scene and the story, and that seems to always take precedence. So I had plans of how I'm going to set my jaw and how I'm going to speak and all this stuff, and you get it in there a lot, but those little, they're called like externalities in acting school. Those sometimes just get in the way and they're not helpful to the story, and it's just showy in the wrong way. And also, David, when we were doing the rehearsals, I kept asking him, can I dye my hair red? Can I, can I have this, And he would always answer me in his usual way, which is just imagine what it's like to be 20 years old and have created this thing. And then it always came back to the stuff that I wanted to focus on, which is, what's kind of driving him internally.
Aren't they supposed to be bonded in their outsiderness? And Eduardo did the worst thing he could possibly do, get into the Phoenix Club without Mark. He left Mark behind. I think that's a big part of it. Yeah. That Eduardo went and got cool. An unspoken crime is being committed here.
Wait a minute, but the unspoken crime has to do with the inequity of the universe. This college experience is not about it's all open to you because you got into Harvard. That was all a lie. So he's seen the travesty of the whole thing, which is I worked to do this thing, and now I'm here and now I've got to work to do this other thing that I've never put any time into, which is how do I tie a full Windsor? How do I go to a cocktail party? I don't know how to do that. And he walks into this Caribbean party and he goes,
absolutely.
I gotta get out of
here. He looks at the lamest party in the world and then I got something I gotta talk to you about. Okay, it's like a final club except we're president. That's it. I just don't think that Mark soon forgot that while he was inventing Facebook, Eduardo was punching the Phoenix.
That's fine. But if you woke him from a dead sleep and shook him by the lapels and said, why do you f***ing hate Eduardo? He would say, I don't hate Eduardo.
Right.
It probably was a diversity thing, but so what?
Okay, and I want to make that so you're so cold you don't want to move because when you move the camera moves.
Yeah, no, that's
and then
nice.
It's like, look, it sounds really good.
Yeah, right.
And then when you're here, he says, it probably was a diversity thing, so what? And it's like, okay, I don't really know how to feel, but I'll feel differently about this, I'm sure, 5 years from now.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
I don't mind the cold, right? Because Zuckerberg doesn't feel anything.
Yeah, he doesn't feel anything.
One of the first scenes we filmed in Boston was where I come up with the idea for Facebook and I'm explaining it to Eduardo outside, and we were actually filming it in freezing New England, and it just lent so much to it.
Holy shit, it is cold. That's great.
Keep your warm boots and stuff on. We're going to do a walkthrough. Okay. Oh, you need ridiculous hats. So.
What do you mean ridiculous? I look good in this shot, right?
No,
you're making me look cool, right?
Yeah.
How's that?
I think it's truly terrible.
In a fantastic way?
Epic. It's epically terrible.
Oh, can I have my slipper?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
What I like to do in a rehearsal process, we didn't do with David or Aaron, was I like to get into my character and talk to the other actors sometimes in the character. So after rehearsal one day, Andrew and I stayed, and for like an hour we just like would talk, and it really got me into like Zuckerberg, and I find that to be very helpful. And it also was helpful for me working with Andrew, because then you can kind of bond more easily, because this is somebody you've never met, but you have to have an intimate relationship with that has to be credible and has to be real.
How was I in that little...
In the note session?
In that allowed take session.
Amazing.
Is that right?
You were really responsive and kind of obedient.
I was trying to listen and be open, you know.
You looked like you were listening, but without listening. You looked
That's
like
exactly
you were,
what I was going for.
You
Thank
looked like
so
you were
much.
trying to look like you were listening.
You know, just saying that to make me feel good.
I was trying to make you feel bad.
You confuse me now. When you're creating a relationship with someone for the purposes of a job, there's an element of it that feels false, but with Jesse, from my perspective, it's felt very organic, very natural, honest, and I'm extremely lucky that I had to pretend like he was my best friend. It's very easy for me to do, like I have a lot of love for him, a lot of genuine love for him. Thank God, because my relationship with him is my linchpin. That's all I kind of have to anchor me into these circumstances. If he didn't feel like a brother to me, then it wouldn't work.
Wardo, like a final twin, what were the presents? So that's its own scene.
Was it a bit like a pinball or something? Well, you know.
Yeah. You know I like that.
You know I like that, mother.
It's Mark Zuckerberg.
Spade!
What are the 3 lies? Mr. Dowd.
The first, shit.
I was preparing to expose the entirety of my body to whoever was on set that night.
Mr. Sabrin.
1. Harvard was founded in 1636, not 1638. 2. Harvard was not founded by John Harvard. 3. That is not John Harvard.
Who is it?
Friend of the sculptor, Daniel Chester French.
You can keep your jacket on.
Cut, moving on.
Cut. It was also like one of my first days, my first night shooting, so I was, I'm just gonna, yeah, everything, I'm fine, I can do this fully naked, I could, whatever, like, I'll do it, standing on my head. But then David, he was very kind. Maybe he could see in my eyes the fear that was kind of like betraying my external attempt at feeling okay with the situation.
He's just gonna keep his clothes on.
Yeah, they're gonna be.
Oh, really? He let me off very, very easily. I think I had my tie off, and that was it.
I think your tie is on the ground.
Oh, that's so humiliating.
Yeah. No, I mean, you drop something. Your bra. Your bra would be gone.
The energy was kind of low amongst us. Like, it didn't feel like a frat party. It didn't feel fun. But there was the guy at the end of the row who had to puke up, and that was constantly funny. Even after David's 150th take, that was still an Aaron Sorkin gem.
Yeah, well, I don't think he should throw up for that long. Okay, we're getting to throw up like that, and that's what's kind of taking our eye.
Don't go as low. That last one, earlier. No, just throw up. That's the joke.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Cut, very nice. Cut.
One on the left. The right.
It feels fake.
What?
The oversized plaid shirt that makes him look kind of like a Charlie McCarthy. We're gonna do 50 of these. Right. Just left, right. We're gonna go.
And action, guys.
What's that guy in the back doing? It's a crew member. It is? What's he doing? Seriously.
I asked him about that. Hey, Neil, what's the guy in the background doing?
Hold on, you gotta see this. Play back.
He was doing like an 8.
Yeah, play it back. Tell him to move the table 8 inches camera left. Downstage 1 looks like it has to go up on the camera right side slightly. Go ahead and level them out.
Yeah, but this one's pretty spot on.
It is? Okay. Yep. Let's pan right a micron. Cut right into the wall. There you go. Tell the guy with the computer in his lap that his job is to push the buttons. That's the only way that this works. It's not air power. Pepper shaker needs to go 3 inches camera left. The Coca-Cola can needs to go behind it. Turn the computer so that it's facing us a little bit more. This far left thing, all this crap needs to... What is that? Is that a sign?
Yeah, I'll lose it.
Lose that. I think we're going to put a person in there. Okay, good.
And now the angle of the middle screen, tip the top back away from you, closer to the wall, just fractionally.
Here we go, roll.
The kid is not in far enough.
You know, in some of the scenes, they recognize somebody on the computer. Is that only in that one scene that we...
Yeah, they should. We should have a couple of recognitions.
Oh, Jesus. First off, they're extras. Secondly, they're all staring at a blue screen. Thirdly, how do you establish a timing, like when the page changes?
You could just see, yeah, exactly. You see one, and then you can tell recognize, and then the guy goes over.
Next screen. You know that girl.
I don't know how you cue it. I don't care. That's your job.
One on the right, one on the right. Yeah.
The thing I want to do is anytime the DJ says to you, that girl's out, you say, of course she's out. That's Natalie Portman.
Oh, okay.
Oh, dude, please, next.
One on the left. Dude, she's so hot. Yeah, she's so. Of course she's hot. That's Natalie Portman.
Yeah, this looks great.
Turn that on.
Most movies I've done have been like $1 million movies, so you steal 90% of the movie, and when you get a permit, it's like, what are we gonna do with this? We got a permit, there's a cop over there who's not trying to stop us, this is amazing, let's not film today. And then on this movie, it was like the one day that we didn't have a permit, we're filming at Harvard. And some people were kind of making a big deal over the fact that it had to be stolen and stuff, but most movies do that at one point, I think, you know, except for like movies that are $100 million, and you know, those are not the ones I ever work on. I think there would be nothing more fun than getting rounded up with your whole movie crew. It seems like that would be so much fun. Probably wouldn't be bad publicity for this awesome movie in the first place.
Yeah, we got shunned by Harvard. Thanks, Harvard. I think it's because I went to Dartmouth, honestly, and they can't deal with that. I'll never forget seeing the breakdown. They're looking for an Ivy League rower. I went to Dartmouth, I rowed there. I rowed for 3.5 years in high school. So I went out and hired my old rowing coach. We went out and made a tape of me sculling out in the Marina Del Rey. I was throwing the whole arsenal at him.
They said Fincher was doing a new movie, and I was just like, I have to figure this, I have to be involved. And then my agent was like, well, it's a good thing you think so, because there's a part for a guy that's 6'5" in it. Are we on? You know, I went in and actually auditioned with Josh. He was there with me when I read, so I was under the impression that, you know, we were both just going to play one of the twins, and they'd be fraternal.
So, Army.
Yes, Josh Pence.
How you doing?
The cleanup good.
Well, I was going to say something different, which is they could be fraternal twins.
Initially, the idea was that there might be one person playing both, or they'd be fraternal, identical. We didn't know, so when we came in, we had to learn, 25 pages of the script as both characters.
Yeah, can you kind of through it over your left shoulder?
Good to hear.
Yeah. Okay, great. You ready on witness cam? Ready. We're ready? Okay, and we're in sync. Do we have synchronization?
You ever been inside the porcelain?
No.
I think before we went in and read for Sorkin, my agent called and said that there was a possibility there was going to be this whole face replacement deal going on. And I threw the phone through the wall and started throwing up and crying. And I was happy to be a part of this regardless. There's definitely a moment where, of course, you're like, really? That's going to be the situation? That could be the situation? And then when you get over your ego, you just realize that it's a no-brainer. To work with David Fincher and to work with Aaron Sorkin and everybody else, it's just such a talented cast and crew. To be part of that would just be like an honor.
It's an eye-safe medical-grade laser. The optics, the cameras actually pick that up, and the undulations of that line create a digital model.
I think I caught half of that.
You got yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome.
Where am I going if you put me in that thing? Somewhere far away.
Holy crap.
Make sure there's not a fly in there with you when you push the button. A, E, I, O. I got to see the opening shot of the twins rowing on the river. Boom, my face pops up on Josh, and I was just like, oh my God! Like, whoa, what the? That's crazy. I mean, it's like, it's my face, but it's not on my body, which is the weirdest thing to look at in the world. It's like, who the hell is that guy? I had no idea how much rowing could kick your ass. I mean, it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do physically. We worked with Don Regan out of the Loyola Marymount Boathouse down in Marina Del Rey about 4 or 5 days a week prior to production, and just had our asses kicked every day. I mean, Josh less so than myself, he was an actual rower at Dartmouth, but I jumped into this and I'm like, yeah, it's all about just using your arms, right? Yeah, I can row, sure, why not? I got out there and the rowing coach was like, you're not in shape. You might be in shape, but you're not in rowing shape. And I quickly found out that that is a totally different thing.
Army, try to loosen up your grip a little bit more. We're already wanting to pull. We're already in this.
From here?
Yes.
Okay.
Army picked up things very, very quickly. And rowing is a deceivingly difficult sport. To me, it's the quintessential team sport. There is no room for being out of sync with each other. It requires you to be just so focused, so in the moment, you know, which is like acting.
They wanted to shoot at 7:30. Yes, yes.
Second unit was definitely a difficult shoot to get through. We'd show up out on the Charles River at 5:30 almost every morning, and it's 30 degrees, and we're trying to row in the cold, and we're sitting in the water waiting for 45 minutes for the sun to come through the clouds so we can get one perfect shot.
The craziest part about it was having this rig on a boat that completely changes the way that the boat naturally moves. You know, so much of rowing is feel. It's such a finesse sport. And so what happens once you put this rig on the boat, suddenly all of that run is gone. So it was like deadlifting over and over again because you take a stroke and by the time you get back up to the catch, the boat's almost stopped again. So it's almost like you're at the starting line every single time.
Cut it! Yeah, that's awesome. Tyler is burly.
Left hand.
Just on the thumb, you said.
These two and then right here.
Right there?
Yeah. Who's covering?
Can I get that thicker one? How convenient that you need tape on all the places that I don't have blisters.
Yeah, you're gonna get one right on top of that guy too.
Oh, which is good. Which is great.
So you're gonna come in here. You're gonna come running over here. I run? You run a mile and a half.
And what do I have props-wise?
You would have, well, the question would be whether or not you picked up the newspaper on the way. Should you have?
Well, I've taken a lot.
You tried the laptop and then you gave it back.
Yeah.
And then you went running. So would you have stopped along the way to get
the newspaper?
Well, no. You're just here. You know, it's enough.
Yeah.
It's been live for 36 hours.
Yeah, thanks, right.
And action.
Hey! Hey! We're there for 20 minutes! Mark Zuckerberg stole our website. It's been live for 36 hours.
Good. That'll work.
How do you, what's your biggest burger?
Well, we do a burger on top of a burger if you want to do it.
Burger on top of a burger?
I mean, that's pretty standard. I mean, we do a lot of them, you know.
Jesus. Yeah. Double burger's f***ing huge. Look at.
We met with the nutritionist, and they're like, eat about 10 to 12,000 calories a day because this rowing is going to make you skinny.
Bring it. Bring it on. Bring it.
Okay, we'll just help me take see that. Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Who's Divya? Where's Max?
Oh my God, my jaw was so sore by the end of that day. I feel like I must have eaten 15 burgers. And of course, they come up to you in the beginning like, so, you know, what kind of burgers do you think you should be eating? And I'm not even thinking ahead to the fact that it's David Fincher. I'm gonna have to do 99 takes. So I'm like, oh, definitely a double bacon cheeseburger, you know. And then the patties come out, and a single patty is like the size of my freaking face. So I had to like unhinge my jaw and just chew over and over and over. And then on top of it all, it's like, you know, 1 in the morning, so you're just like, oh God.
I have to meet up with my parents.
I actually want to go back there because I didn't actually get to enjoy a burger. I had to keep spitting it out every time.
Thank you all very much.
I'm gonna go take a bath.
Boston was like the greatest experience of my life because when you're on a location somewhere, it's easy to indulge in the movie, which is what I like to do. I think a lot of actors like to because you're kind of in it all day and emotionally in it all day, and then you don't want to really leave that place. We would be in the spirit of the movie all the time. Even when we had some hours off or something, we'd stay on the set.
Grab your scarf, slip and fall.
Background! Action.
And then we came back to LA, you know, didn't feel special anymore.
Thank you all very much. Thank you, Boston. That is a wrap. Wrap.
Secrets. You can't show this. There's not really snow in Los Angeles. We're in Boston, man. We're not in Los Angeles. Come on, everybody's gonna know.
When we were in Boston, it was like we'd wake up and we would be the only people we would know. And then when we came back to LA, I was miserable. Andrew has a girlfriend here, and so he wouldn't spend every minute with me. And some of the other guys know other people here and have friends and agents here, and they didn't want to spend that much time with me. Yeah, LA, it's kind of a little annoying because LA is just like a movie town.
Welcome to Boston.
Stephen, how are you? Thank you. How's Boston?
Yeah.
Good morning.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
So let's start with you guys over here. Let's put the girl here. Action.
Do you want me to actually get up?
Yeah. No, you gotta do it from sitting. Sorry.
I remember getting a call, and they said this project was completely top secret. And I had sides from the West Wing that I had to read for the casting director. I was talking about, I think it was protecting the president. And here I am, 21 years old, speaking about protecting the president when I had no idea what I was doing or what the project was even about. I had no idea what it was called. It was the Untitled Aaron Sorkin Project.
Now I can't remember. Do we hear your last name?
No. How would you Facebook somebody off the first name?
That's what I was thinking. It's possible. It would just take a bit of searching.
Yeah, but I don't want the audience thinking, how's that going to happen? Isn't it just easier if she says her last name?
Now, most of you think you know the rest of the story, but you may not. The beginning of this revolution, now you're going to come back, was modest. The kit computer on the cover of that magazine had an 8080 processor in it.
Unless you paid extra, you got 256K of memory. So the challenge when I wrote BASIC wasn't just that it had to run in 4K bytes, but it also that it had to leave room for the users to program in 4K bytes.
What I'm going to want you to do, you're doing a good job when you move around. Scoot your movement to your left, like kind of shake it into your left.
Did you want to start going with that? But you go down and then you stop. And action.
Now you may think you know the rest of the story, but you may not. Beginnings of this industry were humble. That kit computer on the cover of the magazine had an 8080 processor in it. Unless you paid extra for a 1K memory board, you got 256 bytes.
Now, there's no room for error on this. You're too low and you're too far over. You need to be up a little bit, you need to be back a little bit.
What's great is that David seems to just make films that he wants to see himself and for his own sensibilities, and that's all you can do, because as soon as you try to cater to anything outside of your own satisfaction, then you become a slave in a way, I guess.
Cut.
I still can't wrap my mind around him. He's such a unique guy. He speaks in such thoughtful and often esoteric ways that it's a little confusing at first. But I came to really appreciate this person who thought about what you're doing in the scene as much or more than you, and it's your job. And I think probably everybody on set can say that. He's probably thought about their job as much or more than them.
When Jesse crosses up, you make a little bit of an adjustment back.
Are you feeling some decision-making on my part?
Well, I'm feeling indecision.
You just watch.
And it's both intimidating and comforting. Intimidating because you feel like you're working for somebody who probably could maybe do it better than you. Like, I think he could do my part better than me.
Welcome to Facebook.
At the same time, it's also comforting because I know that when I do something that maybe I didn't feel was exactly right, he would have a better sense than I would about what needs to be. The only scene I dreaded was when we go to Palo Alto for the first time and we're like jumping off the house.
All right, summer fun. Here we go. Total jackassery. You're enjoying yourself doing knuckle-headed, chuckle-butted nonsense.
The reason I dreaded it was because I didn't see how it fit into Zuckerberg's psyche.
Ready?
Okay, here we are.
Last one,
That'll be
and
fun.
action.
Because I think it originally was scripted to open where Mark's on the top of the house, screaming and excited and everything, and For all the thoughts I've had about Zuckerberg, I couldn't picture him doing that, and I couldn't picture myself as him doing that, because it seemed too happy for him. And then, luckily, when we got to the set, they changed the blocking, and I didn't have to be doing that. Okay. So have I jumped into the water?
No, you're just videotaping.
filming
You're just videotaping. Yeah. Okay. But it's also somebody goes, quick, let's get a picture. Okay, everyone smile. You know, let's have a fake moment where we memorialize all the fun that we weren't having.
You mean I'm doing that?
Yeah, tiny bit. It's just a little bit of like, well, let's make sure we get this so we can remember those.
Oh, we can remember that we did have actual fun.
Yeah.
I had pretty clear ideas for what Zuckerberg would be during the movie, and I just didn't like him being happy because it just didn't seem to come from that. And then you watch videos of him, and he's sometimes very happy. He occasionally releases videos, and then there's interviews that he's done, most notably the 60 Minutes. It's very useful to have those kind of videos, and I have his voice in my iPod, so I could take the iPod to the set and have his voice in. But, you know, when they call action, that stuff becomes kind of less relevant.
Cut it. Good. Reset. Reset.
Good job. Resetting. This will be a bit of a reset.
What about like in a Zuckerberg sense, just walking out of the pool like self-satisfied, just walking out of the pool straight ahead.
This is
and then turn around and wait for him.
Recreational?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good. Recreational fun.
It's going to be a little weird looking, but that's maybe right.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's fine that it's awkward. I just don't want it to be. I just don't want it to feel like.
You know, Rocky. So what if I just walk out of the pool, like satisfied, then turn around and try to film it?
Yeah, and it's almost like that. I'll make sure I got that. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Let me make sure that I do. Okay.
That's a good idea. Yeah, great. Okay.
Speed. And back.
I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah. Yikes. That's the doorbell.
I didn't know we have a doorbell.
This conversation, upon meeting these guys, he doesn't know where, like, we don't know where Sean Parker and Sean Fanning begin and end. He doesn't know where Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin end and begin. Right. So he's there to go, I'm fans of what it is you guys do. By the end of the night, he's able to go, I'm fans of what, it was nice to meet you. Right. You know what I mean? It was nice to meet all of you, but it was really nice to meet you.
Here we go.
1:15, take 6.
He's 25 minutes late. I found him Napster when he was 19. He can be late. He's not a god. What is he? He's 25 minutes late.
Sean Parker is the co-founder of Napster. He's the mistress, so to speak. He is the driving force that comes in between two best friends. You must be Eduardo and Christy and Mark. Great to meet you. He doesn't come in without merit. He comes in with some experience that the other fellas don't have. And so I think that's why he has the ability to stir the pot.
This is telling about Napster, and then we'll go back into you on, I didn't want to spend my 20s as a professional defendant.
I brought down the record companies with Napster, and Case will suffer for their sins too.
The irony there is just fascinating that Justin is playing Sean Parker, considering he's playing a guy who was one of the creators of Napster, which kind of in a way destroyed the music industry.
You didn't bring down the record companies, they won.
You want to buy a Tower Records, Eduardo? I don't.
Cut. Reset. So we got to figure out what this is going to be. So I think it's the drinks, it's those appetizers that have been discussed. They come. I do think we need to see people actually eating in this movie because I hated movies where people don't eat.
The scripted items are leopard pork, lobster claws, and this tuna tartare.
Everyone got a chance to mess about because there was this montage-y kind of thing that David did, which allowed Brenda, Jesse, Sean, and myself to just try and one-up each other in terms of making each other laugh or, you know, just screw each other up. And the dynamics that were happening were really fun.
Right here. Oh yeah, these are the scallops. These are really good. Really good. Watch your glass there. Here you go. She's done with this one. And Marty, you probably can't have. I'm gonna take these.
Cut it.
Are you gonna drink yours? I don't think that Sean Parker, as he's written in the script, is conniving, but I do think he's calculated. I do think that he knows how to communicate a certain way to certain people. Drop the. Just Facebook. It's cleaner. And I think he has an ease about him that Mark or Eduardo don't. And I think that's why he is so attractive to Jesse's character, Mark.
I've been saddened by the fact that my performance as an actor in the film is being largely overlooked, and that's unfair. I have 2 lines in the movie, playing the ad executive. I did not cast myself. David said, you have to play this, so I did. It was the one scene in the movie when I saw the first cut that I felt could be cut from the movie.
Good.
I'm really happy I ended up here. That's exactly what I wanted.
Now, everyone, take control of your own bodies.
Aaron was great. He was very, very funny in the scene. And it was kind of nice that he was there because the scene was fast-paced and everything, and this is kind of like what we were doing every day. And so it's kind of nice to like share it with him. Sorkin dialogue is hard.
Ready? And action.
Excuse me. Yes, sir. What sound is he making? Well, it is.
Good. Once again. And faster on the...
Faster, faster, faster. That's mine.
My parents took me to see plays starting when I was very, very little, and I was too young to understand Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf when I was 9 years old. But I loved the sound of dialogue. It sounded like music to me, and I wanted to imitate that sound. So as a result, I'm very weak when it comes to plot because I didn't understand what was going on stage, but I do enjoy writing dialogue that sounds like something.
I'm going to the ladies' room.
You got it.
I'll go with you.
Your date looks so familiar to me.
She looks familiar to a lot of people.
What do you mean?
A Stanford BA named Roy Raymond. Wants to buy his wife some lingerie, but he's embarrassed to shop for it in a department store. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah.
Is that a parable?
The screenplay isn't written to be read, it's written to be performed, so that part of it is crucial to me. It would be like writing music and not being around to hear the singer do it. I would recommend that anybody read Shakespeare, but more than that, I would recommend that you see it. These things are meant to be performed, and the music analogy is apt. I don't think any composer would want you sitting there just looking at the sheet music saying, oh, I can picture this or hear this in my head, this is interesting. But they want you to hear the best musicians, the best singers performing that stuff.
Any bouncers, bartenders, or waitresses? Take 30% off the swing. Go dancers. End has to be the same. Come on in, guys. Down here, basically, we're going to have music, we're going to have playback, it's going to be loud, there's going to be smoke, there's going to be lights, it's a club.
If you're going to do strobes at the beginning.
That's what I program it to see the girls when they're dancing.
Good.
I'm going to take some folks out dancing out here in the center, some people at the bar. There's going to be a point that we're going to be recording the dialogue, so the music's going to stop. You got to keep acting because what we're doing is recording a clean track of dialogue up there. We can't have the music playing at the same time. So even if the music stops, just keep going, all right? Until you hear cut. Playback!
I think ultimately that their connection is sort of as anarchists.
I changed the music industry for better and for always. It may not have been good business, but it
Pissed a lot of people off. And isn't that what your face smash was about? They're scared of me, pal, and they're gonna be scared of you.
The greatest act of anarchy is not to be the guy outside the walls throwing Molotov cocktails or spray painting outside the palace walls. If you're the ultimate act of anarchy is you're in the king's suite. You're in the Pope's quarters with spray paint with a can of crime on.
the VCs wanted to say, good idea, kid. Grown-ups will take it from here. But not this time.
This is our time. This time you're gonna hand him a business card that says, I'm CEO, bitch. That's what I want for you.
The one thing that I think is really, really important is that his ego does not allow him to sublimate himself to anyone. That's Mark Zuckerberg's hubris. That's why Sean can never sell the thing as, you need to get rid of Eduardo, you need to get me. Because the second he does that, Mark Zuckerberg's gonna go, we're done.
I agree with everything that you're saying, but I'm CEO, bitch, is the church that they both go to.
The seed is planted, terror grows.
Well said.
100 schools by the end of the summer?
Yeah.
Tell you what, gesture good faith. When you're getting into 100 schools, I'll put you on 2 continents.
I've just had a phone chat with my daughter. She told me that she and her friends are already talking about the race, which they've seen via their computers. New website called Facebook. Do you have this in America?
They have Facebook at Cambridge?
And apparently Oxford and the London School of Economics. That's where her friends are.
As an actor, you know, we love to play characters. That's hopefully why we got into this business. So it was like, you not only get to do a Fincher movie, but you get to work on 2 separate characters in a Fincher movie. So as an actor, that's a wet dream. You can't beat that. He's letting people in on the magic. The actual process of filming it has been incredible. It's been more work than I've ever had to do. Double, actually. You know, there's a lot of switching back and forth during the day.
What I mind and what you should mind is showing up on Monday for a race that was run on Sunday. And now I am asking you for the 100th time, let's take the considerable resources at our disposal and sue him in federal court.
But, you know, thankfully I had Josh Pence there with me the whole time, and we really worked together to create the perfect characters and, you know, the differences between the two, and I definitely couldn't have done it by myself.
The distinction between the two of them, I think Cameron's definitely the more affable of the two. Would make more of an effort to kind of come up and shake your hand and say, hi, how are you, you know, and put you at ease. Whereas Tyler, what we came up with was just a little more laid back, observing more. If you like him, if you don't, it's really no skin off his back.
Here, now we're in the doorway, looking back. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Splits the lip. What's he gonna do? Turns it around.
Got this nerve.
Get up. Just walk over this.
Just walk over.
Just
curl
like,
over.
boom. Thank you. Super high five.
Thank you.
Boom. Cut to togetherness forever.
And then especially what's interesting too is you've got this triumvirate, you know, because we have Divya and then Cameron and Tyler. So a lot of times in the script, Tyler and Divya are sort of, you know, paired up together in terms of, you know, they're on one side of the fence and Cameron's on the other.
You know what? Screw it. Let's gut this nerd.
I don't think it's like good twin, evil twin, but it definitely gives them 2 sides of the coin. It was tricky because we had to be very cognizant of what the other was doing. You know, we'd have to watch ourselves a lot as we were filming on playback, which I know for a lot of people is like hell. But for me, this whole thing was just such an enormous learning experience.
Cameron is preppier, Tyler is sweatier.
Not to look stupid.
Also, Josh will start as Cameron today, and Army will start as Tyler.
Okay, good. Here we go.
You guys hear that?
Josh and Army, I need you guys to switch places. And Army, I need you to assume the same position that Josh has right now. And then I need you guys to swap. I need to see if there's any difference in height for the B camera. Okay, then we'll put Army back. We'll get both sides.
You know what I think? I'm way ahead of you.
Josh, can I have you step
Josh,
out,
step
please?
out.
I got fired. I got fired.
Background, in action.
You know, we got to work with this guy Cameron Thor early on, and we kind of went through a lot of just the physical stuff, what we could do to make us similar but at the same time different.
Yeah.
Cameron Winklevoss.
Hi.
Tyler Winklevoss.
Are you guys related?
It's good.
Fine.
Yeah, we never heard that before.
A big difference is maybe stillness. And that's something as an actor that's just really fun to play with. When you choose to move, when you choose to really be still.
And cut it. Save that one. Cutting. And Army, keep moving. Put the weight on your left foot so you pull it out. And then at the end.
Before pre-production, actually, I was auditioning. I watched Dead Ringers. And Jeremy Irons is amazing. And one thing that he talked about in an interview that I read was the way that he could tell the difference between the two characters is where he put the weight on his feet. You know, one of the brothers, he'd have his weight back on his heels. If he was the other, he'd be a little more forward on the balls of his feet. You know, kind of the guy that's a little more in your face and forward. So, you know, we tried to work on some of that stuff. But yeah, obviously a big challenge is having that be like a really subtle difference. In Dead Ringers, there was times when I couldn't tell which person he was. And I think that identical twins are like that a lot of the time.
You want to watch it again?
No.
Don't lie. You like watching me.
It's like watching movies, so graceful. You Mark Zuckerberg?
I mean, it was interesting to watch Army go back and forth from the characters, and Josh as well, because Josh is a phenomenal actor. You know, he's not going to be seen in the movie, but he deserves a lot of credit because it was very helpful to have somebody who was really good working with you, and also was like probably not the most thankful position to be in. I mean, he's the most beautiful man in the world. He'll have a fine life, and I'm sure get many acting jobs, but maybe this did have occasional frustrations.
Hey man, sorry. A couple of girls are freshening up in there.
Sweet.
At the same time, I don't pity him for a second. He'll be fine. He can go cry over sex.
151 Baker, take one. Speed.
You know this is where they filmed Towering Inferno?
That's comforting.
Hey guys, come on back.
cut.
Justin, you know this guy, so hey, your face should be happy.
Okay.
Take two.
My face should look sad.
Stay. Peter Thiel.
Hey guys, come on back. Sean, that's a great jacket.
Well, my first wardrobe fitting was at the Armani store in Beverly Hills. You know, it was kind of amazing to have Armani making your wardrobe.
And then, do you want to see his hair more roughed up? They greased it back?
No, I want it like this
Just like
now.
this?
When you change him into his Sporty Spice look, then we can Art Garfunkel him.
Jackie had done a lot of research on all the guys. So my first meeting with her, she talked about how Sean had all of his clothing custom made by Giorgio Armani.
That's the new size.
They really went all the way out. I mean, this says Giorgio Armani for Sean Parker. So, and I think he had his name put on his suits. So it's amazing these days what you can find out about someone when you have to play them in a film. It makes a difference in how you walk, you know, and that makes a difference in how you talk because it changes your timing. You get to this point to where I didn't feel right until I had that Sean Parker hero watch on. You know, just being able to sort of move it around and it definitely makes a difference in the character portrayal.
Like this. Now, let me ask you something. Who's Eduardo Saverin?
Cut. Cutting. Perfect.
Let's see you guys on this mark for the check handoff. Yep, go ahead and dress it in.
I think Aaron has joked about, you know, how exciting can a bunch of people sitting around talking into computer screens be? But when you add to that Fincher's acceleration of the film, the fact that it moves like an F1 race, that it's kind of like watching a very, very enjoyable car crash happen before your very eyes, because I think it's a brutal film about ambition.
Mark?
He's wired in.
Excuse me?
He's wired in.
Is he?
Yes.
Bang.
I know a story about the chicken.
It has to come out of this meltdown of
It's
like,
gonna be funny either way, isn't it? It's
that you don't have any.
I haven't
but
got
it has to be based on something
Oh,
that's not.
absolutely.
Fun,
No,
but
no,
it's based on. It's like how could you?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
so
that
angry
was,
and
that
so
was
hurt.
where the betrayal began.
So angry and so hurt
Yeah.
at the same time, both barrels.
What the hell's the chicken?
I bet I think obviously the nature of betrayal, being betrayed by your brother, which is how I see the relationship with Mark. That's the universal theme for me. It's man's inhumanity to man. It's Cain and Abel, and I found that was enough. That was like, that was the core to really explore the destruction that someone can do to you, and having the opportunity to fight, to not allow that destruction to take over your life, and to find a bravery and a strength and a self-worth in amongst someone telling you that you're worth less than nothing. That is something very, very powerful and strong to try to play.
He signs it on the desk?
Yeah, I have a little metal plate that's
Oh, okay.
gonna go on.
Oh,
there
wow.
it is.
Okay.
So I have a little protective steel plate that goes under here that helps destroy this.
After he does that, am I consumed with that my computer was just broken or not?
No.
This is bigger.
This is the inevitable.
Right. Okay.
Come to Jesus.
Okay.
With you as Jesus.
Sure.
Okay.
And roll. And action. Mark? Mark!
He's wired in.
Sorry?
He's wired in.
Oh, is he?
Yep.
How about now? You still wired in?
Call security.
You issued 24 million new shares of stock.
We're told that if new investors came along that you would...
How much were your shares diluted? How much were his?
You signed the papers.
All right, cut it. Again, there we go.
Cut.
Still licking. I mean, what do we have? I think we have quite a few. Great, here we go.
I'm not trying to do an Eduardo Saverin impression. Oh my gosh, I would never dream of being so arrogant as to say that this is who this guy was. There's not much information out there about him that's easily accessible. And after trying to for a while, I realized that it doesn't matter.
Andrew, I'm gonna have you go another 4 inches to your left.
I have as much information as I have, and obviously I want him, wherever he may be, if he sees the film, if his friends see the film, if his family sees the film, I don't want to have anything but a positive effect on his life. I have no bad intention towards him or towards any of the real people. It's a very tender thing dealing with someone's existence in this way.
You're gonna blame me because you were the business head of the company and you made a bad deal with your own company?
I was just trying to be as honest to myself, like putting myself in those shoes and using all of whatever it is that makes me human to try and live this very, very traumatic period of his life.
Got it? So, it's that and that. It's probably in the doorway for the, it's your first. When have you ever seen me wear a silk scarf? It's your first.
Have you ever seen me wear a scarf?
This will be your first. Because by the time we get to here, this will be dead when the phone rings. It's Mark.
Yeah, I did. Had to get your attention, Mark.
You can't be there for when he hands off the, you have to be here so that he can cross through over his shoulder, which he doesn't see, and then inside him so that we have that when he turns around. Yikes, and she goes, boom.
And she flick that light switch when she comes in and just motivate this one chandelier here so that there's a direction to it just in the corner. Nope, fantastic.
He can turn that on and you can put something down low over here, but it has to be, I mean, it should be light in the hallway. Right. And then when she comes forward, she should be kind of in shadow. I mean, she'd be pretty, so you go, she's come to murder him.
She's holding the rabbit.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm not gonna let you ignore me.
Would I put the phone there if the fire's there?
Well, the fire, yeah, I just feel like you just, I think it'll be funnier here because I love the idea of cutting to this phone and you hear him, but and the flames are burning.
Very nice.
Okay, cool. Headbutt, let's go.
Ribbon up the back the same way? Same exact way that you did it. And go ahead and put some on the rim too.
Okay. Okay, now it's got to burn for a while. Oh, there's a, and then she goes, now I'm going to kick it over. Okay. Did she kick it on the top of that? Kick it or she push this in? That's it, just like that.
Do you want to try one? Yeah. We got a setup with her just to make sure she's comfortable.
Sure. Well, let's let her get her hair in a ponytail first. Because right now she's incredibly flammable.
Right. Okay.
And you've done a fire walk, right? Just don't breathe in. Till the guys come up with you, just do not breathe in.
Just don't move. So I can't stop, drop, and roll?
Yeah.
We did a whole technical run through, and David did it so much better than me. He did it so calmly, and I was like, David! And we were joking that they were just going to slather me up in like grease paint and just light me on fire, just have me roll on the bed.
And you look at him, and then you drop it. And then you step away from it. There you go. So that's all you want to do. It's that first one is going to be the biggest, and it probably won't be that big because it'll be dry.
Got it.
Roll.
Speed.
Concentrate. And action.
Hello? Jesus Christ.
When did you get back?
You scared me. I need you to knock first.
When did you get back?
I got back this afternoon.
Did you know I sent 47 texts?
I did. And I thought that was incredibly normal behavior.
That scene was really fun because I feel like every girl has that in her, that kind of like crazy insecurity when your boyfriend's traveling a lot. And I kind of went through my own experience when me and my significant other weren't in a great place. And, you know, you're wondering what they're doing. You know, why they're saying this, why they aren't doing that. So it was fun. That wasn't all acting. That was some deep method in there.
Do you realize that you jeopardized the entire company? Do you realize that your actions could have easily destroyed everything I've been working on?
We've been working on it.
Without money, the company can't function. Let me tell you the difference between Facebook and everybody else. We don't crash ever. If the servers are down for even a day, our reputation is damaged irreversibly. Users are fickle. Friendster has proven that fact.
Look,
Even a small exodus, even a few people leaving would reverberate through the whole user base. The users are interconnected. That is the whole point. College kids are online because their friends are online. And if one domino goes...
Holy shit!
All the dominoes go. Don't you get that? I am not going back to the Caribbean night at AE Pie.
I got a fire in my apartment!
Did you like being nobody? Did you like being a joke? Do you want to go back to that?
Hang on!
Cut it. Very nice.
Cut.
Pictures up.
Bravo 12 Apple.
Roll it. Roll.
Baker, 12 Apple, take 1.
Are you okay?
We're ranking girls.
You're talking about other students.
Yeah.
People's heads will explode.
I need the algorithm.
Mark.
I need the algorithm. Okay.
Cut. Very nice. Cut. Okay, just don't nod. Just, I need the output. I need the output. I know you're trying to save me for myself, which is what I hate most. Don't try to save me for myself. Here we go.
A lot of times the takes that David says he likes are the ones where I feel like I didn't do anything on. And it's frustrating because you're trained to do otherwise. You know, you're trained to kind of like, I mean, not even trained, but you feel sated as an actor when you feel like you've done something and when you've had some kind of emotional experience, you know, and if possible, some kind of cathartic experience even, which is rare. But the takes that the director seemed most happy with, I kind of felt like a little, I didn't have that feeling. I didn't have that kind of, you know, that little like orgasm, so to speak, you get as an actor when you feel like, you know, you connected in some way. And I didn't have that, and he would like that. And then when I'd have that, he'd say, you know, oh, less with the eyebrows or something. So I, you know, it was kind of an often frustrating experience and, you know, often contrary to kind of what you plan to do as an actor in general.
Hey, David, is it too much? I don't want to make a joke of it, but I think it's very funny on the
If we move Dan,
fashion doorway, put the foot up on the thing.
If we can make room for Mr. Penny at the doorway.
Yeah, we're here. We'll be fashion and never finish.
I mean, this is a real joke.
Don't blame it.
No, I mean, there's no way to play it.
Yeah. As long as it's not an equal of John Ritter.
No. Where are you trying to fall behind the couch?
Take 23.
Time to monetize the thing.
What were their names?
You hear what I just said?
What?
I said it's time to monetize the site.
What does that mean?
It means time for the website to start generating revenue.
No, I know what the word means. I'm asking, how do you want to do it?
Advertising.
No.
Just know that the word advertising is going to be like saying what to him.
Okay.
Yeah, pornography. It's going to be
Okay.
like, no.
Okay, sure. We got 4,000 members.
Well, look, hey, we do have 4,000 members. Like, that's something, we can parlay that into something.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because it's not cool. We're going to be cool, and that's what it's about. Cool is priority.
Because the Facebook is cool. If we start installing pop-ups from Mountain Dew, it's not going to be cool.
Hey, I wasn't thinking Mountain Dew.
Yeah, not Mountain Dew.
No.
We don't do that. That's cool. Okay.
Okay, you know what? It is cool right now because there is no other shit. I understand. I don't want to put ads on there.
But at some point.
But at some point, and I'm talking as the business end of the company, the site.
We don't even know what it is yet.
We have 4,000 members. That's not nothing. That's something. Yeah, no, we should exploit this.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the way, that's what grown-ups do.
Yeah.
You have a thing, 4,000 people flock to it. I mean, who knows, there might be 8,000 by the time we're done. So it's so, look, yes, you know you're going to meet with resistance.
No, I don't think I do.
I think you do. I think you know that he's going to be.
We haven't had this conversation.
I know, but he's an artist and you can't be troubled. Look, I'm the business head of the thing, so I'm just
and
saying.
even if he does have resistance, it's my money, so I'm gonna do what we're gonna do.
But you can't do without it. So,
No,
so
I
you
know.
have to get him to say all you want. Look, at the end of this, I just want you to start thinking about how we're gonna monetize this thing.
They're making eye contact until the water goes, it's this, and then he's suddenly, oh, well, now he's not, now it's oblique, and these are glancing blows.
Mark, what is this?
What?
This.
It's called a cease and desist letter. What were their names?
Who?
The girls.
When did you get this?
About 10 days ago, right after I launched the site.
Why didn't you show this to me?
It was addressed to me.
They're saying that we stole the Facebook from Divya Narendra and the Winklevoss.
I know what it says.
Did we?
Did we what?
Don't screw around with me now. Look at me. The letter says we could face legal action.
No, it says I could face legal action.
I think there's a very important thing going on here, which is we and I.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you tell me about this? Because it was to me.
Mm-hmm.
What, did we steal anything from them? And it's like, who's
there is
we
definitely
then?
a we who, Tom, so yeah.
Yeah, who's we? You got a rat in your pocket? No. We didn't.
Right.
Listen to me. It's the
Yes.
we thing is the.
Absolutely, there's the we thing. I'm pretty sure, first of all, I love you, Eduardo, but a million years you could not do what I do. Secondly, while I was up for 48 hours straight on Red Bull doing this thing, and sleeping 3 hours, getting up again, you were doing pay rates at Phoenix and having drinking games.
Yeah.
I don't think they're interested in you, Warren. I think they're interested in suing me.
But the panty raids thing is the thing that he can't access, because that's where he's crippled. That's what makes it burn and melt down, and why it drops out of the soles of his feet, and you know what I mean. It's the thing. It's the deep core problem.
So this thing encompasses 3 of the things that make him most uncomfortable. 1, close proximity.
Yeah.
2,
complication.
And just getting pushback at all on
something of
that what he's done is wrong in some way. So make me believe in this last thing that everything is no. I didn't steal anything.
Do they have grounds?
The grounds are our thing is cool and popular and Harvard Connection is lame. Wardo, I promise I didn't use any of their code. I didn't use anything. A guy who builds a really nice chair doesn't suddenly owe money to everyone else who's ever built a chair. They came to me with an idea. I had a better one.
Why didn't you show me the letter?
I didn't think it was a big deal.
Then he comes over, and proximity and the honesty with which he's saying, we're fixed at the hip.
If there's ever anything wrong, you can tell me. I'm the guy that wants to help. This is our thing.
That makes you uncomfortable, and then he asks you the thing now. I need to check just to make sure you're not leaving anything out. Take that and go. No.
Okay.
I'm not. Yeah.
No.
I told you before. I'm telling you now.
Now, is there anything that you need to tell me?
No.
Roll, please. Ready.
Wait, sorry. Speed.
And action.
He's expanding. What? He's expanding to Yale, Columbia, and Stanford. He'll be in the Crimson tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like that cease and desist letter really scared the shit out of him, huh?
I want to hire a lawyer to file for injunctive relief and get the site taken down now.
On the set, you're walking around the room, and the camera doesn't see what I'm looking at, but, I see a comb or a ring or, the dresser or the books, I mean, these guys were so detailed. It's like our courses are there. My course schedule was on my desk wall. The camera never even got near that, but it's like I get to see that, and then it's just another thing that brings you back into that world, into that moment.
Take 5.
Speed.
Ready?
Yeah! I left a message with his RA. I left 2, now I'm leaving 1 here.
Looking at the article in the
Narendra?
Crimson. Today's.
N-A... Just tell him Divya called.
That's
he knows who I am.
Hundreds register for new
Asshole
Facebook
knows who I am.
website. And the subheading is Face Smash Creator seeks new reputation with latest online project.
Cut. Very nice.
Cut.
A little more urgency in that get this motherfucker on the phone. If you get him, it's gonna stop everything.
Okay.
Is this you, Zuckerberg? Where the are you?
Okay.
Tell me where you are right now.
Okay.
Because I got 2 people who want to talk to you.
Okay.
No, I want to hire the Sopranos to beat the shit out of him with a crescent wrench.
We don't even have to do that.
Thank you.
We can do it ourselves. I'm 6'5", 220, and there's 2 of me.
And hand that points on the 6'5" is the left hand, right?
Yeah.
And there's, yeah.
Um,
You did it with the right. I'm 6'5".
Gotta lean.
220.
Oh, no.
You gotta lean
I
back.
think you do it with the right hand.
Sooner.
Yes, you have to, yeah.
Lean back sooner.
You have to lean back
Okay,
sooner
good.
on, while we're waiting for my dad's lawyer, which you remembered late.
I did remember
saw
that late. Now, where do I say? Now, that's exactly what he said. That's exactly what we said to him.
He's giving you the finger in the crimson. Make sure you're pointing with your right hand, right? And then you sit back right after that.
Then before you stand up, I just need you to give me a little. It's instead of this, you so front.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that.
He's giving us the finger in the crimson. Cam, while Dad's lawyer's looking all this stuff over, we can at least get something going in the paper so that people know that this is in dispute.
We're not starting a knife fight in the Crimson, and we're not going to sue anybody.
Why not?
Hey, that hairdryer works really well in the shower.
Cut it.
Cut.
We were in this room, and I mean, no one likes being in a deposition room, period. But then you're in it all day, every day for weeks, doing the same scenes over and over. So it was like being in a sensory deprivation chamber that was just made to torture you.
There's points where you're like about to go insane because you're seeing the same room over and over again for like 10 days or whatever it was. It seemed like 10 days.
It definitely was challenging. But I think that probably those depositions are a little bit like that. I mean, this is a really heightened version of that because it's been weeks as opposed to hours. But like, I think that people get really tired and the testimony is really emotional and it's definitely exhausting to watch, but it's also exciting.
The best part about that was just being in the room with everybody. You know, because we didn't get to work a lot with Andrew, who's a brilliant actor, Andrew Garfield, and Rashida Jones, and a number of other people. And so for us to all get to come together now at this point, it was fun. You know, it was just kind of like a little party.
And Mark was, the biggest thing on the campus. It included 19 Nobel laureates, 15 Pulitzer Prize winners, 2 future Olympians, and a movie star.
Oh, who was the movie star?
You f***ing kidding me?
No. I mean...
Dude, come on.
The shooting process itself feels like an extensive rehearsal process because it's really involved and they really let you do it a bunch of times until it feels like part of your skin.
Within one take, without cutting, we would do it 30 times, like a monologue. And I thought, I'm not doing well if we have to do it so many times, and that kind of put me on edge a little bit. I'm in the middle of 2 different lawsuits.
Did you answer affirmatively? When Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss and Divya Narendra asked you to build Harvard Connection, did you say yes?
I said I'd help.
Good. Once again, and Jesse, try currently in the middle. Just clarify with him.
Okay.
Here we go. And don't actually eat your skin. You can chew it, but just don't eat it. Here we go. And action.
Cameron Winklevoss, W-I-N.
One second.
All right. Cameron Winklevoss, W-I-N-K-L-E-V-O-S-S. Cameron spelled the usual way.
You know, it's arduous and it's exhausting, but I think that there's sort of a brilliant design behind it in a way. It forces you out of your head. You almost don't have time to think. You know, between takes, he'll give you a note, and it's just like you got to go right back into it. And eventually, you've done it so many times that it's like by take 45, you're so tired that you're not even thinking about it, and that's where you should be.
But it's nice, because you're with a director who likes to do that many takes, and he's very much a perfectionist. So if he doesn't think it's right, he's going to keep going until he gets what he wants, which is, as an actor, the most comforting thing you can hear. I feel very protected in this.
There's 2 things that I think are really advantageous to doing a lot of takes. One is it takes the pressure off of the individual take, because I never felt like the pressure was on me to get it right away, because there was an understanding on the part of the 100 people working on the movie, which sometimes is a lot of pressure that 100 people are spending their time so that you can kind of get it right. The pressure never was on me because everybody knew that we'd be doing a lot of takes, so I never felt personally responsible for the time that was being used. And then the main thing is you could try different things, and you didn't worry that they'd only have those 2 options and they'd have to choose one, and they both kind of weren't hitting the mark. I really like it. I mean, I have a lot of insecurity about performing, so the more times you get to do it, the more times you get a chance to do it right. I still, after 100 takes of something, I still don't feel like I got it how I wanted it to be, but I don't think maybe I'll ever feel that way. Maybe that's okay, and I have to deal that with Dr. Goldsmith, my therapist. But you want to feel like you had the greatest opportunity to do it right.
It's bliss for an actor to have that feeling that you're able to up. You need that in order to find whatever it is that you're looking for that you have no idea of. That unknown thing that you can't ever consciously create.
Did he offer terms?
Yes, he said we'd split the company 70-30, 70 for him, 30 for me. And he named me CFO.
And you said?
I said, let's do it.
Great. Once again, Jesse, slide an inch to your right. There. And action.
It's also a part of the process of doing digital filmmaking where you can just be in there doing take after take after take and you're never really away from each other. It's different from the old way of movie making, of coming in and doing a couple of takes and then walking away for a while and while they adjust everything and reload and whatever. It's like rehearsing a play to some degrees, of just going over and over and over a scene, talking briefly about it, banging back into it with no worry about people having to reset things. We still have our breaks, say set up a different version of the shot, a different angle or something, but it is a lot more work.
You're not an asshole, Mark. You're just trying so hard to be.
And then go with that. You go.
Does it feel right that I get up there and not? I mean, I feel like I could either get up on.
Pay it fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, or right after that, like that's beside me, others beside you, the guys beside you tomorrow. Or I can wait.
Well, show me what that is.
Pay the fine. In the scheme of things, it's a speeding ticket. That's what Cy and the guys will tell you in the morning.
Okay, cross on. No, not at all. There's a night guy downstairs, and then stop at the doorway for it.
Okay.
You're not an asshole.
You're not an asshole, Mark. I like my character because she's kind of like this Greek chorus, this conscience of the movie, where she just like sits back and witnesses this thing going down and then offers her slight opinion and not in a pushy way. And I like that in my own life, the idea of like just sitting and listening. And I like it as an actor because I got to sit and listen to this entire deposition process and then make a really informed, educated assessment of what just happened. It's a good lesson.
I appreciate your help today.
You're not an asshole, Mark. You're just trying so hard to be. There's so many different ways for the scene to play out, and there's so many different flavors of Mark Zuckerberg that people can be left with at the end of this movie, or the character Mark Zuckerberg. And, I think David and Aaron have really just been experimenting with what those could be. But I think they, at the very end, want to present a very balanced picture of this person and what this person went through.
And cut it. Just, tilt your head a little bit more to the left. There.
It's not coming from a need. It's not even coming from a desire. It's coming from this reflex of I have to go back to the beginning. Just see. So it's just, it's not a smile. It's relaxed. And so I want everybody to put everything on it. So whatever you can do to take out everything. Okay, here we go.
It's nicely bookended, and it's sad that in the end he has, no friends, all this money, and he's created the biggest social network out there, and yet he's completely socially inept.
Zuckerberg almost is, in a way, kind of a personification of Facebook. I mean, I feel weird talking about him because I don't know him, but I mean, for me, the character kind of like thinks of Eduardo. We should be friends because I need you for this thing, and you need me for this thing, and you like this band, and I like this band, in kind of this very pragmatic way. And that's kind of, from the little I know about Facebook, kind of what Facebook has too. People are linked through common circumstance or common interest rather than the kind of more nuanced relationships you have with somebody in person. And the interesting thing is that I think it's precisely that, potentially narrow focus socially that allowed him to create something that so many people find so accessible.
Jesse, you're done. Bravo.
wrote, Zuckerberg said he hoped the privacy options would help restore his reputation following student outrage over FaceSmash.com. Now, while we're waiting for Dad's lawyer to look this over, we can at least get something going in the paper so people know that this is in dispute.
Got it. Moving on. That's it for Army. That's it for Josh. That's it for Max. Finishing that.
On the last day of shooting the movie, we had 3 shots to get. And in the middle of the second shot, David took me aside and said, let me just tell you what's going to happen now. We're going to finish up getting the second of 3 shots that we need to get. Then I'm getting in my car and I'm going home, and you're directing the rest of the movie. And I thought he was joking, and I was kind of going along with the joke. And he kept saying, no, I'm serious, and I kept laughing about it until the first AD, Bob Wagner, came up to me and said, don't worry, we're here for whatever you need. And our great DP, Jeff Cronenweth, asked me to come and line up a shot. And second ADs are having me choose background and select wardrobe and all this stuff. And David meant it, and he did, by the way, get in his car and leave. He wanted to make it clear that this wasn't the pilot asking the little boy to come up to the cabin and look, you're really flying the plane. So, kiddo, you got no net. I'm out of here. Now, that shot, I believe, is less than 1 second long. If it's more than 1 second, then it's 1.2 seconds. I did 2 takes and went, okay, we've got it. Bob Wagner, the first AD, said, David will kill me if I only give him 2 takes. You have to do more. So I said, okay, we're just going to do a few more exactly the way we just did those first 2, okay? So we did a few more, and that was it. I also got to say that's a wrap, and we wrapped the movie out.
All right, cut it. Cut. Good. Okay. Anything else? Is that it? Social Network wrapped? You good? Ladies and gentlemen, all right. That is a wrap. Thank you all for your very hard work.
A lot of people say it's like, oh my god, it's so great, and we had such a great time. We're all gonna stay in touch. But I seriously think we're all gonna stay in touch.
Even though I wasn't here that much, I really took a lot. It was such an amazing experience, and I learned so much as an actor.
I think grew as a person, as an actor. You know, it's a dream.
It was fun to just be around and watch it all happen.
This is so boring, isn't it? I should have more dirt and say that there's lots of fights happening.
These are my only Facebook friends because I'm not on Facebook.
My girlfriend's mother, would always say things like, if you have time for that Facebook, you have time to tutor a child. And so no one should be on Facebook unless they're tutoring the child. And if they're tutoring a child and on Facebook, then they should tutor another child.
I'm very proud of the movie. I can't imagine being more proud. When I write something, I'm sure David's the same way when he directs something. I'm sure our cast is the same way. I don't try to take everybody's temperatures and should ask for a show of hands and give people what they want. I don't know what people want. People don't want the same things. This is all a long way of saying that all I can do is write something that I like, write something that I think my friends would like, write something that I think my father would like, and keep my fingers crossed that enough other people like it that I can keep earning a living.
I was recently at the AFI tribute to Mike Nichols. And on those kind of occasions, they show kind of extended clips of the awardee's career. And so you're sitting watching the screen scenes from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, Graduate, Catch-22, Carnal Knowledge. And I remember sitting there thinking, why aren't we making movies like this? And then I saw Social Network, and I realized that every now and then we are.